Okay guys, so I've got a layer here that I made. It's basically a pluck and a saw, and I'll play each sound separately. But you'll notice that on the EQ here, I haven't actually done too much. They are very slight changes, but they do a great job in making the sound more tight and more clear, and that's really what we want when we're layering. If you're working on something like bass or layering drums, then it might be a different story. Because these sounds are so similar and are playing exactly the same chord progression, we don't want to take away too much of the important information in each of the sounds. So first off, I'll play this pluck, and you can hear it with and without the EQ. So the EQ sort of tightens up a bit and brings down this 2 kHz range, which is where the Supersaw over here has most of its energy. And I've given that a slight boost, but it doesn't really need it. So now we've got the saw, which is quite big and sounds really nice. So turning the EQ off brings back that low end, but we don't really want that because it is very muddy, and that's where our pluck is basically occupying. That's where most of the energy from our pluck is. So I have brought down that there. I've brought down the low mid end, and I've left the high end or upper range where it's supposed to be. So those two sounds together make this. Compared to this. So it's really about getting rid of that muddy and dirty low end, which we don't really want, because typically you would layer a bass under here as well. And the last thing I added was a glue compressor, just to give it a bit of punch, as you'll be able to hear. My CPU is going crazy. Yeah, that's just a basic overview of what your EQ might look like if you're layering similar sounds like this. And of course, if you're using different sounds like drums and bass, it's going to look a bit different. You might have some more drastic cuts in there. But basically what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't need to be crazy. You don't need to bring out all of this low end and all of this high end, because as you can hear from doing that, it doesn't sound good at all. So overlap is possible. Keep that in mind and have fun.